Rise Overrun Vancouver here, and today we are with my man Danny, the co-founder of The Lab X here in Vancouver. And thank you, Danny, for having us in.
100%. Thank you so much for coming by.
Of course, my man. It's a privilege. And why don't we just jump right into it?
For sure. Let's go.
All right. So what inspired you to start The Lab X here in Vancouver? Why don't you give us just maybe a little bit of background on how you guys got started and what do you guys do?
For sure. So the original Lab X started in Toronto, and I wanted to actually move out here into Vancouver just for the nature, the lifestyle, all that kind of stuff. But I actually had an opportunity with our team to actually open up a spot. And so I thought, why not bring the community, the quality of care, and the energy of something unique into a space like Vancouver where everyone, really prioritizes their health.
I love that, man. And I totally agree with you about moving to Vancouver. I was actually from Toronto myself too, and moved here for the same reasons. The mountain, the lifestyle, and everyone is like, I feel like everyone is extremely focused on their health here out west. So this fits perfect. And so why don't you share with us a little bit about what you guys do?
Yeah. So for us specifically, I've noticed that a lot of clinics, they might specialize in specifically physiotherapy, specifically chiropractic care or massage therapy. We're a multidisciplinary clinic, so we try to carry all the services, right? So almost like a one-stop shop. But the thing that I think makes us unique is the community aspect of our team and the people or the businesses that we actually collaborate with, right? And so being a healthcare team that really works together, right? We're not just coming in, hanging out in our room, treating our patients and then leaving. It's more of a team effort. And so we're making sure that, if a patient needs to see the chiropractic, the physio, that there's a ton of communication between them. And then in terms of community, we wanted to honestly outreach to as many people as we could so that we could provide that team care. A lot of people have one therapist, one person, but we want to make sure that everyone's supported in all aspects.
No, that's really amazing, Danny. And I love how you guys are building a community just around all facets around recovery.
Yeah.
And so, meanwhile, while people are focusing on their physical activity, hiking, working out, they can come here and make sure that they're good in all aspects of their recovery as well. So
100%. Yeah. I believe just the lifestyle out here is a lot different, right? In Toronto, you're getting, there's a ton of active people, but the amount out here in terms of cyclists, runners, rowers, Frisbee players, like all this stuff is just astronomical compared to Toronto.
100% agree. Like, I feel like Toronto, it's very nice for the nightlife and the food.
The food, nightlife scene out there.
But here you got the cyclists and the outdoor activities for sure. Yeah. Something I noticed right away when I came out here too.
Yeah, it almost puts you like a little bit of pressure to really put more time into your physical health. Right?
Definitely, actually. So, like when I lived in Ontario, I don't even think I actually went to the gym.
Yeah.
Once I moved out here to BC, I was going to the gym. I think I went vegetarian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get access to that
hiking,
stuff. Yeah, it's just so much more in abundance, right? That lifestyle of like eating right, treating your body right. In Toronto, you're going to party, you're drinking, you're eating fast food. There's so many fast food franchises. Versus here, it's a lot of mom and pop shops.
Definitely.
It's not as much like McDonald's, Popeyes, all that stuff, which I love. But yeah, it's a little different vibe.
Yeah, I agree. So what did the process look like starting out the Lab X here in Vancouver? I know you said you already had a location in Toronto. And what did the process look like? So you moved here to Vancouver. How did that work out?
Yeah, we took a little bit of a leap of faith. We started looking at units here. I already knew I wanted to move out here. But it was a matter of first picking a location that I found was almost like a place you want to be.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So just my experience from working in different clinics in Toronto, I wanted specific things in terms of location and almost like the space itself.
Yeah.
And so one of the biggest things that a lot of people might not look at is just like having windows and being able to see the sun and like feel the brightness because that gives you energy.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, so just a lot of people come in when they have a seat, the sun's shining through the windows and they're just like, wow, like today's a good day.
Yes. And I actually totally agree with that. So one of the things that I really noticed, and even just from your Instagram and social media, is that most chiro clinics really feels kind of like a doctor's office.
Yeah.
Or this is very modernized. So when you
Yeah.
come in here, it's like, it feels like a modernized gym almost.
Yeah.
And like you said, you have an awesome community here. Everyone works together. So you can even get that vibe from your Instagram page.
Yeah.
All right. So like just the way you guys have the layout and everything, it's very up to date, very modern. And yeah, like you said, the windows make a huge difference.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like your normal chiro clinic,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. We wanted to change that environment a little bit, that like sterile doctor's office.
Yes,
like
yes.
you're almost scared to go see this person.
Yeah.
Right? And here we try to be very welcoming. You guys saw the mural.
Yeah.
And so that's a big
that.
part of, like, you see that mural and you're like, oh, this place looks dope.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
a vibe.
Exactly.
And so that's what we try to create here, rather than that sit down, read a magazine, like wait for your appointment sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. And you can definitely tell. Even when I came in and how you guys all came out, greeted me and everything like that, you can tell you guys are very team oriented and result oriented as well, looking to help help us and help your patients. I love it.
For sure.
All right, Danny. So if you could for us, just maybe sum up that process. So like maybe a little bit of a step-by-step process for anyone else that has similar interests.
So we started out by looking at our location again, and then from there, once you get your location down, it's figuring out, your team. And so making sure that when you pick your team, you try to match whatever energy you're trying to put out there, right? So we went through a couple websites, a couple referrals of our own. I had a couple friends that had actually moved out here. And so we had a small team to start. And then once we started building, it's a matter of reaching out, door to door, just word of mouth, trying to meet as many people as we could.
Yes.
Right? And then,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, as we kept building, we try to really, push our community focus. Right?
Yeah.
So going out there, trying to meet people, working for them, working on them. Any events they have, we'd come support. Right? So I guess that would sum up most of it.
Yeah. And so like there's I can really tell there's a lot of work ethic behind there, a lot of grind. So why don't you share with us a little bit about what that grind looked like? Because you said you're going door to door. I feel like this is a great example for people who are thinking about business themselves, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't come easy. It takes a lot of hard
100%.
work. What did that hard work look like?
Oh, it's tough because opening up here, we didn't know a ton of people. We had a few people, obviously, just moving from Toronto, and I have a cousin that lives out here. But from there, it was that door-to-door. So every week would be trying to meet people. So maybe an hour or two every single day, sending out emails, going around, trying to just access any network that we had, right? And then on top of that, it was, are we able to treat the people that are coming in really well? So always putting time aside to make sure that your quality of practice is really good. Mm-hmm. And then you always need to look at feedback, right? So when people do come in, are they catching the vibe that you're trying to push off or you're trying to emulate?
I love that. That's
right?
key.
So it's always just reworking the gears every time, right? So trying to really refine it and make sure that we are what we preach.
Yes,
right?
Yes, I love that.
So yeah, just tons of hours of networking, and it still hasn't stopped. It's been a year, and still every week it's maybe 5 to 6 hours of reaching out through email, reaching out through Instagram, doing things like this with other, community activists, people, right? So we just keep going for it.
Yeah, you're just always looking to grow the community, continue to expand, and then also continue to improve and look to see where you guys can adjust and things like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. And so what was some of the biggest fears you had with moving? Well, one, with moving out here and starting a business. What were some of those fears, and how were you able to overcome them?
The biggest fear was obviously making sure this worked and trying to achieve, whatever it looked like in terms of our success, building a good team, making sure that, the community actually liked what we did. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's still a grind. And as it's every day that we go through it and we get people coming in and you get a smile because the windows are here, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
It's so true.
And so, little things like that is what keeps us going.
I love that.
Right? And making sure that as people get better, we do really appreciate when they show their appreciation, whether it's just thanking us, right? Or just, being able to come back or tell a friend.
Yeah, 100%, man. So really what helped you overcome the fears was the difference you're making.
Yeah.
It's like your vision was on the difference in the value you're going to make in the community. Fears didn't even matter at that point.
Exactly. And
That's awesome.
It still, obviously, with the move and everything, we're only in year 1, right? We're transitioning into our year 2.
Year 1, that's cool.
And so, yeah, it's still always a little bit of anxiety of, is this still going? When is this going to,
Yeah, when's this going to break through?
Exactly, yeah.
Like that,
so, I mean, you never know. It might not ever, but we just got to keep working and keep as optimistic as possible.
Yes. Focus on the possibilities.
Exactly.
Just do your best to work towards them.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so what's the best thing about running your clinic?
That's a tough one. I would say it's between a few things.
Okay.
The first would be being able to, I don't want to say that other clinics or other people don't provide quality care, but quality of care.
Cool, yes.
Like being able to help people when people come in and they tell us, our physio, chiro, massage never did this. They never explained this to us.
Yeah.
I never understood what my injury or rehab process was really like. So getting clarity on all those things and being able to provide people what I would say quality care is probably one of the most rewarding things, along with the community. We always go back to this community part.
Yes. That is the funnest part.
Yeah, like
building
meeting
a community.
people. Meeting people, hearing the stories. You guys doing a great job of obviously sharing that.
Thank you.
And so it's amazing just to see that, and people come together. And I think as social beings, that's a part of the fun.
Yes.
Being able to do that has been amazing.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
And I appreciate, again, you having us here. And
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. It's been pleasant. And so, pause.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Danny, one thing I actually wanted to share with quality care was actually the first time I went to a chiro, I felt like nothing happened. So I never went back.
Yeah.
And I haven't went back. And then
100%.
now I just turned 30 and I'm like, I got to start going to a chiro and taking care of my recovery and things like that, right? Yeah. But yeah, the quality and care and the relationship makes a big difference, because even when I went, it was just like quick.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I felt like I could have done a better job stretching at home, right? And she didn't really, I guess, explain anything.
Yeah.
Except that her next appointment's coming up, kind of thing, right? So it wasn't personal or anything.
Yeah.
So that makes a big difference in the business.
Yeah, we found that again, working through different clinics and as all practitioners, that there's some very transactional clinics, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? If you feel like the patient needs only 10 minutes of your time, then they only need 10 minutes of your time. But we truly feel that 10-minute appointment or 10-minute session isn't ideal for everybody.
Yeah.
And so majority of the time, we should be spending a little bit more time with you.
Yeah.
Right? And so
I agree.
We really do prioritize that in terms of making sure that everyone gets that one-on-one time, gets the education, and making sure that they're comfortable and that they're involved in the treatment plan.
I love that.
Right? You don't want to, as a practitioner, just tell the patient what to do if they're not going to agree to it and they're not happy with it, because then they won't do it.
Yes.
Right? And so it's definitely a team effort when it comes to this type of care. And so I feel like we do a really good job of that, of, again, keeping that team, making sure the patient's super comfortable, they're understanding what's going on, and that we work together to get to their goals.
Yeah, and again, I love how you guys have a team that covers all sectors, I'd say, is because one is you guys can share the knowledge.
Yeah.
If one doesn't know something, something's new, right? You have a team to, ask questions and figure it out, learn together, work together. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Exactly. And so that's why the team member is always super important.
Yes. And that ones that share the similar vision.
Yes.
I love it. All right, and what was one of the biggest adversities you faced, and how were you able to overcome it?
I would say the biggest adversity was moving to a different city, right? And so I think just the lifestyle, the people, the food, everything is just so different. And so it's really a unique thing, because in Toronto, I would say that people are really big on trends. And so the new thing that's out, everybody wants a piece, right? But it seems like in Vancouver, I noticed that people are very loyal to their habits, whatever it is, right? And so if they see something new, it's not always the first thing in their mind to, jump in and give it a try. Yeah. And so just seeing that just makes it a lot more difficult for small businesses starting up and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's true. And I think having, a big, so I think a big part of overcoming that is just doing things like this, getting your vibe and your personality out there. I think really has a big impact on getting people to try the new business and things like that.
100%.
No, that's cool. And yeah, with the whole Toronto and Vancouver thing with the trends, that's really cool. I never actually thought about that. And it is so true. Like any trend that comes out, whether it's a word, whether it's a word, an accent,
yes, exactly.
everyone hops on it right away.
You just need a musician or rapper to say one line or whatever it is, and it just catches fire.
Everyone,
but here, like nobody cares.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing I really wanted to add too is AI is not taking this kind of business over anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It has to be personal.
Yeah.
Right, I definitely wouldn't trust a machine cracking my back. That's for sure.
Yeah, I find anything with health in terms of just looking at certain cases, so let's say injury specifically, because everyone's so different, it's hard to really adapt that experience to every single person.
Yes.
Right? And so I think that, again, if you're getting an adjustment, you're getting cracked, everyone's a little different.
Yeah.
So that adjustment might not be the easiest to, jump around.
Yeah, definitely. And I just would not trust a machine cracking my back. That's for sure. Something went wrong there.
Yeah, exactly.
Something broke down.
It's a lot of liability.
Yeah. All right, Danny. So what advice do you have for the community, anyone who's been thinking about starting a business or maybe a similar business to this?
Yeah, I would say that out of all the things, that progress is never linear. And so a lot of the times you're taking 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps forward, but there's going to be days you're going to take a step back.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes honestly, it might be a week, it might be a month that things aren't going well.
Yeah.
But we always got to look at the broader spectrum and see, as long as we're moving forward through a larger timeline, that's what's important, and that we're doing what we set out to do in terms of, in this case, provide quality of care.
That's right? Amazing, man. People. I actually loved how you shared that advice, because my friend and I actually had this conversation the other day.
Yeah.
And said, it's really tough when you're putting in the work and not getting the results.
Yes.
And that's progress isn't always linear.
Yes.
You can't always see the progress.
Yes.
And sometimes you're taking 5 steps back,
yes.
1 step forward.
Yes.
But it's the ones who keep going that stand out and actually make it or succeed. It's getting through those hard times. I'm going to add a quick quote to that. Is sometimes you got to be willing to work for more than what you're getting paid for, and eventually you'll get paid for more than what you're working for.
Yeah, so I would say that's actually very very similar to what we tell patients in terms of the rehab process, in terms of taking care of themselves, right? You go to work out at the gym, you're not hitting a PR every day, right?
That's true. Sometimes you're getting a little
worse. Exactly, yeah. So again, like very many other things, you got to be able to take the good with the bad, as long as you're working in the right direction.
Yes, 100%. And like you said at the very beginning, is you always kind of got to look for feedback, right? Reflect, see what you can adjust and improve.
100%.
Sometimes we get complacent where we get this one good system down and we continue it, but if we're not adjusting and looking at how we can improve, it can start going back down the other way.
Plateau, regress. So as long as you're always taking that time to reflect and make sure that you're taking care of yourself too.
That is important as well, man.
Yeah, that's how we move forward.
That's true. Sometimes when you're in that grind and you're super busy, your eating habits fall off, you start falling off, but you're just so focused on the vision. So that's actually really good advice too, is taking care of yourself while you're in that process. All right, Danny, man, thanks for having us in.
Appreciate your time, brother.
It's been a pleasure. And, make sure you guys, so 3, 2, 1. Make sure you guys follow The Lab X on Instagram. They have an amazing page. And make sure you guys get down here. Address is in their bio. Yeah. Is it in their bio?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Address is in the bio. Make sure you guys get down here to The Lab X in the Kitsilano area. The address is in the bio. Check out the YouTube video for the full podcast. And that was awesome, Danny. Again, thank you.